Click the bell icon to get latest videos from Ekeeda.
Hello friends, today we are going to discuss about the remote operations on the NFS or the network file system that provide on the remote procedure calls. How this remote operations is done and how are it is advantages and both disadvantages to the file system implementation of a system. With an exception of all the opening and closing of files, there is almost an one-to-one correspondence between the NFS protocols RPCs and the regular Unix system calls for file operations. As we can say that all the RPCs are provided using this remote operation between a client-server mechanism, so we can specify that when the server is communicating with the client for this remote operations particularly. Conceptually, NFS adheres this client-server relationship, but basically on the local file system that has been mounted to remote file systems on a client side, it uses the buffering and caching as an inherent mechanism of the local system to improve the performance. Now, when you're using this buffering and caching, then all the data are being cached rather than directly being written to the disk. And as well as when this caching is used, we can say that the file attributes and the file block caches are used to make the system improvement. Now, as buffers are used to make the cached data successfully reach this client side along with the server side, we can say that the remote operations are not actually easily implemented in the local file systems. But we generally use this because of the conceptual clearation of that particular data. Now, the NFS maintains two types of cache. One is a file attribute cache that contains the inode and all file information, and another is a file data block cache. The file attribute cache is implemented to tell us about the file information, that is being creation of a file, deletion of a file, and any modification of a file. So whenever the file data blocks are used, only after the file attribute caches are received properly. So upon receiving the file attribute cache, the client checks with the server cache that it matches or not. If it provided only with the correct file attribute cache, then the file data block cache are used. By default, all these cached attributes and data blocks of files are flushed for the next 60 seconds. After that, both read write and read ahead are implemented by the client and server mechanism, so that we can say that the client will not free up any delayed write blocks until it is confirmed by the server that it is written to the disk. And the read ahead disk performs mention that the reading of the file that is being created and updated on the server side. So the delayed write is performed even when the file is opened concurrently in conflicting modes. Hence, the Unix semantics of this consistency mechanism is not satisfied. Now, tuning the system of performance and this efficiency issue, we can actually lose the consistency semantics preserved. At least we can say that when a file is created at the server side, it is not visible for the next 30 seconds due to the buffering and caching. In other side, we can say that whenever the file is created and is updated by a particular server, then it is not visible immediately to the client side, and only it can see the flush data that is being modified by the server to the client side. So the updation is not visible immediately by any of the clients that is being updated by the server. So the server will not update the particular data in order. When the next session will start for this client and server machine, then only the clients that is requesting data from the server can access the updated data that the server is flushed now. So the server is flushed the data. In the next session, the client is getting that particular data. Thus, NFS provides neither of the Unix semantics preserve nor for the Andrew semantics. But despite of these drawbacks of this particular remote operations involved in the NFS, it is still used as an mostly of the distributed vendor operating system because of its good system performance as well as the efficiency. So that is all for the remote operations that is related to an NFS and RPC. Thank you for watching this video. Stay tuned with Ekeeda and subscribe to Ekeeda.